The rich man stood still in the doorway. His expensive shoes made no sound on the shiny marble floor, but his heart was beating very fast. In front of him, inside the big fancy room where everything used to be quiet and sad, something amazing was happening. A young black man who cleaned the building had rolled up his sleeves. His face was bright with real happiness. He was holding the hands of Henry's daughter who couldn't move her legs. They were moving together and dancing to music that only they could hear. The little girl had been stuck in a wheelchair since the terrible accident that changed everything. But now she had the biggest smile Henry had seen on her face in 2 whole years. She was laughing, not because someone told her to, not because she was being polite, but because she felt truly happy deep inside. For the first time since the car crash, she looked like she was really living again. Right then, the rich man understood something he never thought would happen. Even with all his money, power, and control over everything around him, he had failed to give his daughter the one thing she needed most. If you think kindness is powerful, if you believe people deserve second chances, and if you think amazing things can happen when strangers care about each other, then please take a moment to like this video. Tell us what you think in the comments. Share this with someone who needs to see hope today. Subscribe to Kindness Corner too. When you support us, you help spread hope in a world that really needs it. The beginning. Henry Caldwell was the type of man that newspapers wrote about and workers were scared of. He was a billionaire who bought and sold buildings. He built many of the tall buildings you could see across the city. But after his wife died in a terrible way, he also built walls around his feelings. When his daughter Ava got hurt and couldn't walk anymore after a bad car crash, the same crash that killed her mother, those walls became even stronger. Henry pulled away from everything that made him remember life before the accident. This included staying away from the very girl who needed him the most. He paid for the best doctors money could buy. He hired the top people who help injured people get better. He even built a special fancy room in their house just for her treatment. But he never stayed long when he visited her room. Looking at her made him think about everything he had lost. While Ava tried to hide how much she was hurting by forcing smiles and nodding quietly, inside she was slowly disappearing. Ava used to be full of energy and life. She wanted to be a ballet dancer when she grew up. She was the kind of girl who would dance in the store while her mom bought groceries. She made strangers smile just by being herself. The accident took away more than just her ability to walk. It stole the brightness from her spirit. Even though she lived in a house with gold elevators and servants who knew how to act perfectly, she felt like nobody could see her. She didn't need fancy things. She needed laughter. She needed music. She needed to feel connected to other people. She needed something real. Enter Jamal. Then Jamal Thomas came into their lives. He was 32 years old and worked as a janitor. The company that hired people to work in rich people's houses had just given him the job. Jamal wasn't fancy or polished. He didn't have college degrees or expensive suits. But he had something that nobody else in that big house seemed to have anymore. He was humble and warm. He had a special ability to really see people as they were, not just what job they had. Jamal had grown up in foster care. This meant he moved from one family's house to another family's house over and over again. He went to many different schools until he turned 18 and had to take care of himself. Life had not been easy or gentle with him. But all those hard times taught him how to notice when other people were in pain, especially children who were trying to pretend they were okay. The first time he saw Ava while he was cleaning, she was sitting by the big window. She was looking out at the garden with eyes that seemed too sad and old for a girl who was only 11 years old. He didn't talk to her right away. He didn't want to scare her or bother her when she didn't want company. But over the next few days, he started to hum quiet songs while he mopped the floors near her door. He hummed old jazz songs and soul music, anything that reminded him of his grandmother who had raised him until she died. One day, he saw Ava's hand moving along with the beat of his humming. That told him she was interested. He started bringing a small speaker that connected to his phone. He kept it hidden in his cleaning cart. Slowly, he began talking to her. He never asked about her injury or why she seemed so sad. He just talked about small things. He asked about the weather, what snacks she liked best, and whether she enjoyed listening to Stevie Wonder's music. At first, she barely answered him at all. But as time went by, her curiosity started to show. One day she asked him why he always sang while he cleaned the floors and windows. "Because music," he said, "is how my heart remembers it's still alive." That same afternoon, he asked her, "Do you want to dance with me?" Her eyebrows came together in confusion. "I can't do that." But he smiled at her. "Sure you can. Dancing isn't just about your feet. It's about what you feel inside." He carefully took her hands and started moving them side to side. He moved his own body around her wheelchair in gentle motions. It wasn't perfect or practiced, but it was pure and real. The ritual. This became something they did every day. Every afternoon after the nurses finished helping her exercise and the big house became quiet, Jamal would find Ava and dance with her. Her real laughter started coming back. Her shoulders stopped being so tight and tense. Her smiles became genuine instead of fake. She asked him to teach her how to clap her hands along with the rhythm of the music. He showed her how. She asked if he could push her wheelchair around in circles so she could spin like a ballerina. He did that too. And he always made sure she felt like she was the one leading the dance, not just following what he did. Neither of them knew that one of the housekeepers, Maria, was watching the amazing change in Ava. She was the one who quietly told Mr. Caldwell what was happening. "You should see your daughter," she whispered with tears in her eyes. "Something beautiful is happening to her." Henry didn't expect much would be different. Maybe she would smile a little more or seem slightly happier. But nothing could have prepared him for what he saw when he walked into the ballroom without warning on that Thursday afternoon. His daughter was spinning around in her wheelchair. She had her head tilted back, laughing with pure joy. The janitor was dancing in circles around her. Both of them were lost in a world where there was no pain or sadness, no pretending to be something they weren't. For the first time in many years, Henry didn't see the wheelchair first. He saw Ava, the child he had forgotten how to talk to and connect with. Jamal saw him standing there too late. He felt embarrassed and immediately stopped dancing. "Sir, I'm really sorry. I was just—" But Henry held up his hand to stop him from apologizing. He didn't speak for a long time. His eyes stayed focused on Ava's bright, happy face. Then, so quietly that they could barely hear him, he whispered, "Thank you. Everything changes." In the days after that, everything was different. Henry asked if he could join them when they danced. At first, he felt awkward and wasn't sure how to move his body to music. He wasn't even sure how to talk with his own daughter anymore. But Ava helped him learn. She taught him the moves that Jamal had shown her. She forgave him for staying away, and she didn't need him to say sorry with words. Jamal was surprised that the billionaire was willing to show his feelings and be vulnerable. But Jamal stayed humble and honest. He reminded both of them that getting better emotionally didn't come from trying to fix everything. It came from allowing yourself to feel things. Soon, Henry made a choice that surprised everyone who read about it in the news. He announced that he was starting a new organization in his wife's memory. This organization would give money to pay for art and music therapy for children who had disabilities. And at the center of his announcement, he gave credit to the janitor who reminded my daughter how to dance and reminded me how to live again. New beginnings. Henry offered Jamal a job as the director of creative wellness for the new organization. The job came with full payment for Jamal to go to school and get a degree in music therapy. At first, Jamal almost said no. He didn't want people to give him things because they felt sorry for him. But Henry said, "This isn't charity or pity. This is about finding your purpose in life." Ava kept getting better and stronger. She worked hard in her therapy sessions and grew emotionally too. Eventually, she got some movement back in her upper body. She started giving speeches with her father at events for their organization. She would tell the audiences, "Jamal didn't just teach me to dance. He taught me I wasn't broken or ruined. I was just waiting for the right rhythm to come along." If this story made you feel something good, if you believe in heroes who show up when you don't expect them, if you believe in second chances and in the music that comes from caring about others, please take a moment to like this video. Share it with someone who needs hope today. Subscribe to Kindness Corner. When you support us, you keep these stories alive and help them reach hearts all around the world. We have a special request too. Tell us in the comments about one act of kindness that changed your life or the life of someone you love. Your story might inspire someone else to start dancing again.